voice of Nassau Community College.
A 2019 Marconi Award finalist from the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is 90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD Garden City.
Available anytime on your smart speaker.
And anywhere on iHeartRadio.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. The show is called From the Press Box, part of the Sports Talk family here at WHPC. We're here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sports Talk, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., Tuesday night, 10 p.m. to midnight also. So please listen to them also. But we start off the week. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, is my brother Tim Leonard, award-winning sports writer. Hello, Tim Leonard, award-winning sports writer. How are you?
Good morning, brother. How are you? I love it when my last name is award-winning sports writer.
Well, no, I said Tim Leonard. And then I paused and said award-winning sports writer.
Good job, brother.
You know, I'm a little under the weather, brother, but I couldn't miss the show.
I can tell, bro. I just noticed your shirt is on backwards.
No, it's inside out because I think I wore this shirt. I cleaned it. I washed it, but I think I wore it like 3 weeks ago, so I didn't realize it. You know, I tend to wear the same shirts because there's only so many shirts I can wear.
Yes, brother.
You know, I don't have all the great shirts like Eric Fischetti.
Eric Fischetti is definitely a fashionable young man.
No, look at him. And he's wearing that new Islander third jersey hat.
This is the one that I'm not afraid when it gets dirty, though.
But that's...
Which one, the hat or
the
hoodie?
hat. It's the black one. It's actually not that bad.
You don't have that as a shirt, do you?
No.
Hey, now I got a question for you.
I never liked it.
I got a question for you as a member of the younger generation.
Yes, sir.
Hoodie. How many hoodies do you own? The hoodie seems like a big fashion staple for the younger set now.
Probably maybe like 5.
That's all?
5 or 6.
That's surprising me because I think I have about 5 or 6.
I mean, like
I'm definitely younger than my years.
Definitely, and you look it too. I have like the pullovers more so than anything, but I have like the full zip, no hood.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess I'm a little bit more fashionable than I give myself credit for.
There you go.
So,
another prediction of mine correct. Happens every week.
But you see what they did with the Islander NY? I didn't realize that there's 4 little slashes for each cup.
Yeah. That's how that's.
But I hate that third jersey. It's black and it just says NY.
It's better than a fisherman. So
anything's better than a fisherman.
Exactly. What's going on? The Facebook Live is not working, or what? What are we doing?
I don't know. Let's see.
All right. Well, anyway, as usual, brother, a big week in sports. We had a lot of disappointment this week.
Well, not
and
for
this weekend.
Met fans.
Met fans aren't playing, so they're disappointed.
No, but they're happy that Yankees are not in it.
You know, if that's what makes people happy, then they really need to reassess their fandom. Because I've seen a lot of stuff between Twitter and Facebook in the last couple days. A lot of people with the old, tired, stupid saying, "Oh, my favorite team is anybody playing the Yankees." You know what? If that's really how you feel, again, check yourself. Because if it makes you happier for a team to lose than your own team to win, then you have some problems.
I was actually, if the Yankees were going to win, I would actually root against the Nats because the Nats have done more damage to the Mets than the Yankees.
Exactly, brother.
So and you know,
would have put Met fans in a precarious position.
Yeah, it's like Red Sox. You know, you root for the Red Sox? No, you can't. They're worse than the Yankees.
Exactly.
So anyway, but you said something last week, and you were half right.
I was mostly right.
Mostly right. No, you were half right.
I was probably about 90% right.
You said Game 3 you worried about, even though they had split in Houston.
Yeah.
You said you worried about Game 3 because you thought the Astros were going to win.
Well, no, because what I said was that Game 2 was vital, and for everybody who was saying that the Yankees, too many people said, "Oh, the Yankees would, if you would have said before the series, you go to Houston and you split, the Yankees would take that." Well, no, they wouldn't, because Garrett Cole pitched Game 3, and when Garrett Cole pitches, the Astros win. He hasn't. There's something like 19-0 now in his last 19 starts. So he hasn't been pitched in a losing game since something like June. So it was pretty much a lock that Garrett Cole was going to win Game 3. And he did. So that was the issue. Was now you're talking about being down 2-1, and I said after that the Yankees were going to be forced to win Game 4 and Game 5. Well, what happened? Game 4, the Yankees didn't win.
I have to say that was the worst game I saw all year for the Yankees.
Game 4 was
a horrible game.
Terrible. It was. Every team has a game like that, or a couple games like that during a season. When you play 162 games plus the postseason, you're going to have a couple games where things just get sloppy. You can't field the ball. You can't hit. And unfortunately, that happened for the Yankees in Game 4. They made 4 errors. They couldn't get a clutch hit. Masahiro Tanaka, who's been fantastic in the postseason in his career, gave up a three-run home run, and then Chad Green gave up another 3-run home run. So there's 6 runs. It turns into an 8-3 game. Yankee fans were leaving the stadium in droves in the 7th and 8th inning because the game was over. There was no way the Yankees were coming back from that. So now it's 3-1. And again, there's your problem. And that was why Game 2 was such a vital game.
Right. No,
so the Yankees come back. They win Game 5. They beat Verlander, and that was something else we said last week, was that for the Yankees to win this series, they were going to have to beat either Verlander or Cole at least once. And even though they did that, they beat Verlander. He was not good in the first inning. DJ LeMahieu led off with a home run, tied the game at 1. The Yankees put a couple of men on base, and then Aaron Hicks hit a ball down the right field line that hit the foul pole and made the loudest sound I've ever heard off a foul pole. It sounded like somebody rang a gong. You know, it sounded like one of those. It just with the mallet and smash. I mean, I've never heard anything hit off a foul pole that hard. And then the rest of the game was nothing. The rest of the game was good pitching and bullpens, and Yankees win 4-1, and let's take it to Houston. Then Game 6, it's looking bad. Bullpen game, and usually the Yankees are very good in the bullpen games. I forget what their percentage was this season, but they probably won 80% of the bullpen games, if not higher. I mean, that's how good they were in those games. But instead, Chad Green gives up another 3-run home run.
Right.
That was one of the understated parts of this series. Chad Green was not good. And he's been phenomenal all well, I shouldn't say all season. The first month he was terrible. They sent him down to the minor leagues to get himself straightened out. But once he came back, he was almost unhittable.
Well, what gets me about what happened with the Yankees, just watching like Game 6 especially, they seemed like their feet were in cement. Even though, they were close, it wasn't like a bad game. But you watch Houston, they're running around, they get these outs, they're giving each other high fives and chest bumps, and they seem like they're caring that or they sort of know no matter what's going to happen, we're going to win. And
well, that's the confidence that they have from good pitching.
I know that, but I didn't get that from the Yankees.
Well, before you started talking about chest bumps, I was going to point out that was a very sagacious assessment, brother, is that the Astros are...
Sagacious?
Sagacious, brother.
Wow.
I know. But the Astros are a more athletic team than the Yankees.
Okay.
I will give them that. They also have a better rotation, which is not a mystery to anybody. It was a known fact coming into the series that the Astros had a vast advantage with their starting rotation. And for the most part, that played itself out. Zach Greinke wasn't very good in Game 4. He only went 4 1/3 innings, but he only allowed 1 run. So in the new playoff mentality, Greinke did his job because he gave them a little bit of length. 5 innings. It used to be 5 innings to get the win, and obviously that's still the case. But if a starter gives you 4 and change and he only gives up 1 run, even if he was shaky, which Greinke was, but he kind of gutted himself through and got out of the game in reasonably good shape.
Right.
And then the Astros bullpen. Again, the Astros bullpen surprised a lot of people in this series because it was very good. But the other part was they didn't have to pitch nearly as many innings as the Yankees bullpen did because Cole gave them 6 innings, Verlander gave them 7 innings. The Yankee starters weren't giving them that kind of length. But then, game Game 5, I do want to point out, James Paxton was phenomenal. Outstanding job by James Paxton. My favorite moment of the postseason probably was in the 6th inning of Game 5 when Aaron Boone goes to the mound, and Paxton at that point had thrown like 110, 111 pitches, somewhere in that, right there. But I'm figuring Boone's coming out to get Paxton, and I'm not having it because Paxton was rolling.
But you see, that's a Rob Leonard thing.
Well,
let your pitcher pitch, no matter what the pitch count is.
Like I always say, brother, it's an eye test.
Yeah,
thing.
That's right.
That's
what I said.
Paxton was cruising. Boone is such a by-the-book manager. I figure, all right, somebody told him 110 pitches. He's coming out to get him. And instead, what did Boone say to Paxton? He gets to the mound. It was real easy to read the lips. He said to him, how you doing? Paxton looked at him and says, I'm good.
You see?
Boone looked at him and says, go get him.
You see? The Rob Leonard.
But then the very next pitch,
right,
he throws Robinson Chirinos, the Astros catcher, hit it to the warning track in left field. It was probably about 3 feet from going out of the stadium, and that was it. That was the inning. That was 6. So he threw about 114, 115 pitches, whatever it was, but the stadium reaction when Boone said, like I said, I'm good, go get him. Boone turns around, walks off the mound, and he's like, all right, do your thing. Stadium roared.
Of course.
Because Boone was finally doing something that wasn't by the book, and every person in the stadium, including that idiot Nick Totoro, knew that Paxton was cruising and knew that Paxton should stay in the game.
Okay.
So I'm glad that Boone finally used his eyeballs and said, all right, this is what we're doing. And we're going with our guy. He says he's good. The results are obviously good. He still has it. So let's let him get out of this inning.
So he listened to the Rob Leonard thought process
in
of baseball.
In theory, brother.
See?
In theory.
Rob Leonard, right again.
Rob Leonard would have sent Paxton out for the 7th.
I would have.
So that would have been a mistake.
Well, you know what I liked about this series? There were 2 great plays, and it was something that just like
there were a lot more than 2 great plays. That was Game 6. There was 2 great plays.
The one I liked, that both of them involved an outfield catch where the first one was Judge threw it back to first base and gets the guy out, and the second one was the Astros did the same thing to the Yankees.
Yeah,
and I really thought
it was Judge who got doubled up at first.
Yeah, and I really thought it was wise playing, and you think that these players might realize that nowadays these guys can throw that far.
Well,
and maybe realize maybe I shouldn't go all the way around second base and then get caught.
Well, the one that you're talking about with the Astros was Mickey Brantley out in left field. Brantley's not a good outfielder.
No, but he shocked everyone by getting it back fast.
But that's why Judge was so far, because he never thought that Brantley was going to catch the ball because he's not a good outfielder. And it just so happened that he was able to catch the ball, and because Judge was so far off the bat. Judge in that situation, it's not a horrible play because he's trying to get an extra base.
Right.
Because if Brantley doesn't make the catch like Judge thinks he's not going to, typically he would have to stay at second because the play's in left field is in front of him. He could throw him out easily. So by kind of cheating a little farther towards second base or even a little past second base, he's trying to get to third. So it's actually kind of a good play, but Brantley, again, he's no Gold Glover. He's never going to be a Gold Glover, but he made the play he needed to play. He needed to make. So, credit to him. But, there were like I said, there were a lot of good defensive plays, and the Astros made a lot of them in all 6 games.
Yeah, the Astros played very well. You know what? Considering what the Yankees went through with all their injuries, the fact they even made it this far is actually pretty good.
It's been an inspiring season.
Next year is going to be a little crazy though because there's lots of decisions they have to figure out. As is
the case every offseason, brother. There are decisions to be made, and
it's interesting
I'll
that
run through a few of them.
Well, hold on, just before you go, Steinbrenner has been gone. George Steinbrenner has been gone for
many years.
A long time.
Yeah,
I can't see the Yankees under George Steinbrenner going 10 years, even though they actually did, without getting to the World Series, without him screaming and yelling. And
but
overspending and doing what he.
This is
naturally
you're kind of setting me up here, brother, because my main move in the winter, you got to sign Garrett Cole, and I'm not saying that you have to give him whatever he wants, because I'm already hearing $300 million.
That's a lot,
and
of
that's
money.
insane.
They're not going to do that
because that turns into another 10-year contract like Bryce Harper got, like
or Stanton.
Like,
look at Stanton's
Stanton too. And Stanton, I tell you, I was happy when they got him because he'd had such a great season with the Marlins, and it was, I think, more because I hadn't seen him play every day.
Right.
Stanton mashes a baseball, but number one, he has real problems staying healthy. And number two, he's not really athletic. If you watch him in the outfield, he's not athletic.
Well, Derek Jeter must have known something when he traded him.
Well, he was looking to get rid of salary. That's all. That was the only reason he was looking to trade him. But that is the problem, and that's like I said before about that the Astros are more athletic than the Yankees. Stanton is one of those reasons.
Right.
But he's got a contract and a no-trade clause that it's going to be almost impossible to move him. He's going to be a Yankee for probably at least another 5 or 6 years, if not more than that.
I agree.
And if he stays healthy, he's a good addition on the team. If he can't stay healthy, that contract is going to turn into an albatross.
I agree.
So as far as what we're seeing this postseason,
right.
Look at the teams in the World Series. The Astros.
Right.
Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, who they got at the deadline. And don't tell me, don't anybody tell me that Zach Greinke should have been a Yankee. There's no way he would have survived in New York.
Some people can't.
The Nationals, he's got like personality disorder or something. He's got issues
That's right. The Yankee fans were torturing him.
New York would be impossible for him.
Is he OCD or something?
I have no idea what it is, but he's got issues.
Does he have to lick the ball or something before he fixes
I have no idea. But you look at the Nationals, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, who could have been a Yankee in the offseason, and even Anibal Sanchez, who had 7 2/3 no-hit innings and has actually won an ERA title.
Right.
So starting pitching is obviously a key to winning a World Series. And if you look at the Yankees in the last decade, that's been the area that has been lacking for pretty much every one of those teams. There'll be a couple of good starters. Masahiro Tanaka's been around for a long time. CC Sabathia was around for a long time and much more effective than he was this year. But the Yankees haven't had a rotation of that kind of quality of those two teams that I just named. Cole and Verlander are quite possibly the two best pitchers in the American League.
Right.
Scherzer has won a couple of Cy Young awards. Strasburg is a dominant guy, especially when he's healthy, but he's had some issues with health in recent years. Corbin has been incredibly solid this year. Better than most first-year free agents. Usually they feel the pressure of the contract and they don't perform as well. But that's what you're looking at. And if the Yankees can get Garrett Cole in the free agent market, put him with a healthy Luis Severino, full-season Luis Severino, and Tanaka, now and Paxton.
All right.
That's a real good four.
It is.
That now I'm looking at a team that certainly has a good shot at winning a World Series.
Okay.
But with what the Yankees have right now, Severino, Tanaka, Paxton, it's a good three, but it's not necessarily a dominant three. And Severino still really hasn't shown that he can be a lockdown kind of pitcher in the postseason. He's had some real sketchy starts in the postseason. His start in against the Astros when we needed him in Game 3, desperately needed him against Cole. What does he do? He threw 36 pitches in the first inning. You can't have that. You need the length out of him. And everybody knows he's not going to go very long anyway because he's only made like 5 starts since he came back from being out all season. And Boone probably pushed him even longer than he normally would have. He went over 90 pitches.
Right.
So, but he only got he was 4 innings because 36 pitches in the first inning. It was ridiculous. You have to be able to put people away, and he wasn't able to do that against the Astros in Game 3. So Garrett Cole for sure. I mean, you don't know where he's going to go because the Angels are going to be in play. Maybe the Padres. I don't know. They might make another crazy signing. I don't think they will though because they don't have that much money and they already have Eric Hosmer and Manny Machado under big long-term contracts. But I also saw today. I don't even remember. I don't know what I saw it online, so I don't know what day's paper it was in. But Joel Sherman from the Post is all about trying to get Francisco Lindor from the Indians. Although that would the cost in prospects and players would be astronomical. You're talking about a 25-year-old Gold Glove caliber shortstop who in each of the last 3 seasons has hit more than 30 home runs and has won a Silver Slugger Award, which is the best hitter at his position. He's basically a 270, 275, 280 hitter. He's probably the best shortstop in baseball, or if not, he's one of the top 2 or 3. Like I said, the cost in prospects would be astronomical. But that being said, as much as I love Didi Gregorius, he's got to go. I can't see giving him a 5-year deal at the money he's going to want for a guy who's over 30 now. You can't do it.
Is he in shape? Does he take care of himself? Is his hitting and fielding still where it should be?
No. And the reason is he had the Tommy John surgery. He came back in July or June or whatever it was. He never found his stride offensively.
No, now he can take 5 months off.
Well, yeah, but do you want to sign him to? He's going to need 5 years, minimum $80 million, minimum probably $100 million.
Okay.
I'm not committing that kind of money to a shortstop who's over 30. As much as I love him, and I love Didi, he's been a great Yankee. Took over for Jeter, handled that responsibility in as well as anybody could have.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's unfortunate with the injury. The timing is bad. Either I'm going after Lindor hard, or I'm moving Gleyber Torres to shortstop. I'm putting DJ LeMahieu at second base, and maybe tacking on a year or two to DJ LeMahieu's contract, and then I'm going from there.
Okay, who do you predict, the Astros or Nets? Very quickly.
I got to go Astros, and the reason being is that the Nationals bullpen is still a disaster. I like the Astros starters better than I like the National starters, and I like the National starters a lot, but I like Cole and Verlander, to me, are almost untouchable, and the Astros bullpen will be the difference. I think also the Astros have a tiny bit better of a lineup.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box, right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Give us a call, 516-572-7440.
All hit music.
For all those songs radio has forgotten about, join me, Big Ed, Mondays from 10 a.m. till noon for The Good Gold Show. We'll bring back all the great hits of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and more. The sounds of doo-wop to disco, all the Motown, soul, and great rock and roll. We'll even take your requests and dedications to The Good Gold Show.
Music.
On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Okay.
Yo. Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
Check it out.
If you ever wonder who lived in your house before you, my grandparents' house, the room that's now a playroom, somebody died before in that room.
If they happen to die in my room, I don't want to know.
Don't tell me.
The reason I'm asking you this is because a strip club in Tel Aviv decided to turn into a synagogue.
What?
Yes!
I love it. I would convert.
The strip club didn't go well. There was a lot of raids for prostitution and drugs. So they just
let's make it a synagogue.
to turn it into a synagogue. Would we go?
Yes. Are you
Yeah, no, I'm definitely there.
What if there's just like random poles everywhere and I'm just be like,
They put the strip poles together for the cross.
There's no cross in a synagogue.
Oh, it's fine. They turn it into Stars of David.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5. 5 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
We're back here on from the press box on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Before we start, there's one more thing about the Yankees, and I give them credit for their Yes Network. The next day, no, that's off, Tim. I took it down.
Why?
Because it wasn't recording, so don't worry about it.
Yes.
Anyway, one thing I got to give the Yankees credit for on the Yes Network, the next day, after the Yankees lost, they showed, I don't know if it was scheduled or not, but they showed Game 7, I think it was the 77 World Series, or Game 6, I should say. So I was like, oh, okay. And then the other side of the coin, the team that continues to forget about its past, the New York Mets, as co-owner of the SNY network. I hate to say this because I don't, I work in television. Who knows if I ever work for them? But you know what? The 50th anniversary of the Mets winning their first World Series out of 2 happened last week. And do you think that SNY, which has shown all 5 games are available to be viewed because they have been, you think they would have showed some of those games? They did not show one of those games.
Unbelievable.
And I'm like, they showed a game from like 2000, like 2 days later or something. And I'm like, what am I missing here? Why can't they follow? Why can't they be part of this 50th anniversary thing, which is the last time you're going to celebrate with these guys around? You don't go by year by celebration. You don't go to 51st or 52nd. What you normally do is you go by the 5s or the 10s.
Yes.
So, Ron Swoboda's like 74, same with Shamsky.
They were all old.
They're all getting old. Cleon Jones is still, he's still around.
Like 78 or something.
Yeah, and you think...
Cleon Jones actually did a 50th anniversary, I forget what channel I saw it on, but it was one of the local news channels, where he was wearing a Mets shirt that had the number 69 on it.
Right.
And he stood there like a statue reenacting the catch. I don't know who, why, whatever. But it was just kind of weird.
Down on his knee?
It was kind of weird. No, he wasn't down on his knee either. He was just kind of standing there, like with his glove up, and because like I said, he's 78. He's not going to go down on one knee. He might not be able to get up.
Well, the beauty of that catch is like he gets on his knee like he's thanking God.
That's what he was doing. He said a prayer. See, Cleon Jones is a very religious guy. Very religious.
Does a lot of good stuff at Alabama.
Absolutely,
building houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you think that SNY, which is part of the Mets family, so to speak, would have showed, games 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the 1969 World Series. Now, there's no footage.
They should have.
There's no footage from any other games, complete games, I should say, of the Mets. The only complete games are the World Series games. They don't have anything with the Braves in '69, and there's not a complete game. There's some footage, but there's not a complete game. So I was really disappointed in SNY, and the Yes Network the next day showing Game 6 was
Game 6 of the 1977 World Series. Brother.
Yeah, so
Reggie Jackson. It was 42 years ago, 2 days ago.
Yeah,
so it was the 42nd anniversary, which means Reggie's old now too.
Hey,
age snuck up on Reggie, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So, but you know what? The Yankees are always good with that on the Yes Network, and I hate to say it, but
it's all about the programming.
But there's no programming on SNY,
But that's my point. Is I don't know why they don't do it that way.
Oh my god!
But Reggie hit the 3 home runs off of.
They don't even have like a radio show broadcast on television.
Who was it? Don Sutton, Enrique Sosa, I think was the other. I'm trying to
gave up the 3 home
right
runs. Wasn't Bert Hooton one of them?
Bert Hooton was one of them, and Sosa was the third one, I think.
So big. Yeah, that was one of the great games for Reggie. That made his career.
Of course it did.
Anyway, quickly about the Mets. Speaking about the Mets.
That's what made him a real Yankee.
Yeah, well, that's
true. They used to like to say about A-Rod, he's not a real Yankee.
Well, that's
then he
true.
won the 2009 World Series. He became more of a real Yankee.
Okay. We know Joe Maddon signed with the Angels. Joe Girardi's still available to be signed as the Mets manager. Buck Showalter is too. Dusty Baker would be a good choice, though he is kind of old.
He's up there. I don't. Personally, I don't think Dusty Baker. And there's two
I'm
reasons.
I'm not sure how Dusty would handle New York. That's
2 reasons for that. Check real quick and see how old Dusty is.
I think he's 68.
But the 2 reasons I wouldn't like Dusty as the Mets manager. Number one, I don't know age-wise if he would be able to relate to the players. Number two, he has a real reputation as being somebody who kills pitchers. He is not a good manager of pitchers. And the Mets, obviously their team is built around pitching.
He's 70, actually.
Yeah, 70. So by next season, is he 71?
June 15th, so yeah.
So he turns 71 during next season. I like Dusty Baker, great baseball man. He's been an outstanding manager. I just don't know if I want somebody who's that old coming in. But that being said, the Mets keep saying that they are all in to win next year.
They said that last in 2019, too.
But so that means the moves in this offseason will be made with the intention of building a team that can win in 2020.
Well, then who do you pick as your manager then?
You need to.
You're not picking. I'm nothing against Buck Showalter, who I think is a smart guy. You're not picking him.
I would, but the Mets will never give Buck the kind of control.
No.
That's the issue.
No.
It's about control. It's about who is helping to set the course for the organization. There's no way that Brody Van Wagenen is going to give that up to Buck Showalter.
He's
like he would have to.
Brody's coming across as a real kind of big ego
clown.
and
clown. I think
I'm the only one who can save the Mets.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's the case. So,
no, it's definitely not the case.
He's never done any of this. He was an agent.
It's Brody's ego. But he would have to give up some of the control to Buck if Buck is to be hired. I think Buck is a great baseball mind. He's still one of the best managers in baseball, even though he didn't manage last year. He is a guy who I think could get the Mets to the postseason. And certainly would run that team in a very efficient way and would have them playing good baseball. I think the same goes for Girardi. I think they're similar personalities. They're both very disciplined. They're both pretty hardline kind of guys. Showalter is more in control of every bit of minutia. Yeah. He doesn't let anything go. Girardi isn't so much.
I liked what you said about Girardi. The Cubs still need a manager. He's a Chicago guy. His family's there. It makes a lot of sense for him, too.
Yeah.
But then again, he's been in New York. He understands, I think, very well how New York and the media works and how the fans are very expectant.
But he's not comfortable with that. That's the problem. His first, you have to remember when he took over. His first week or two in the job, he actually lied to the press.
Can't do that.
It was something about an injury, whatever. And the media, whatever he told the media, they checked with whoever they had to check with, and all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Joe just lied to us.
Yeah.
And they immediately called him on it. And they thought, basically it was like, look, you can't lie to us. We'll find out, and we will make your life hell.
Yeah, well, that's part
just
of.
Tell us the truth.
That's part of the New York media, which you don't have anywhere else.
Well, Chicago's
pretty.
It's a media city. So
maybe Philly. There's two papers there.
I wouldn't even say so. Philly is more the fan base than the media there. The media is tough because it kind of takes the mentality of the fan base, and the fans there are so negative. But
not positive like Yankees.
I think that Girardi. Put it this way: I think Girardi's preference would be Chicago.
That's
because
right.
I think he wants to go home. I think he wants to be there, and I just think he would be more comfortable there, and I think he thinks his family would be more comfortable there. But if the Mets job came open, I have no doubt he'd take it because I think he would look at the Mets situation and say, all right, we got a good team here. We it's a team where they're at least willing to spend money.
A little bit.
Well, I'm not to the extent that the Dodgers and Red Sox are, but it's a team that does spend.
Has spent. I wouldn't say.
Well, but not. There's a difference between spending and spending wisely. And it's like signing Jed Lowry to a 2-year, $14-16 million contract last year might have seemed good at the time. But Jed Lowry played a handful of games for the Mets last year, and it was a complete waste of money.
It was, I agree.
And how many, the bullpen signing Jeurys Familia seemed like a good move at the time, turned out to be a complete waste of money. So they'll spend it, But you got to spend smart.
And they took over Robinson Cano's contract.
Right. So they're willing to pay Robinson Cano whatever. I don't even know what he's making, $25, $30 million a year, probably 25. But, again, spend wisely, not just spend.
But if you're based on who's available right now, I go with Girardi and work it that way. And
I think he'd be a good signing for the Mets.
I said that 2 years ago before they did what they did.
Well, Callaway just didn't work out, but the issue with the Mets, and again,
actually, you know what? The second half, the Mets were very good. Usually, it's the other way around. Usually, the second half, the Mets start falling apart. I would have kept Callaway, but I think Brody didn't like him. He wasn't my guy. So
there were issues with him personality wise. The Mets did play well in the second half. All you have to do is look at the splits. And see that there's no doubt about the fact that they played well in the second half.
Sure.
But they just had too much ground to make up. And Mickey, I don't know if Mickey finally got the hang of being a manager and it took a year and a half for it to happen or what it was. But, there were issues there. And I know a lot of Met fans did not like his in-game managing. They questioned a lot of his decisions. That was the reason why Mickey was most of all Mickey was let go.
Maybe Brody was on Facebook too much on some of the Met pages where literally every pitch was Callaway's an idiot. Callaway's an idiot.
Well, but like I was about to say, brother, if the Mets are indeed all in for next season, like apparently they're maintaining that they are, you can't hire somebody like Carlos Beltran.
No.
Because you can't put yourself in a position where your manager is learning the job on the fly and you're expecting to contend for a World Series. The two things don't mesh.
Well, Girardi did.
Well, Girardi was handed that caliber of a team. And you could say that Alex Cora with the Red Sox did the same thing.
Don Mattingly
didn't win a World Series, but at least contended for it. But again, those are teams that are the highest spending clubs in baseball. The Red Sox spent more than anybody. The Dodgers, when Don Mattingly was there, spent almost as much as anybody.
I know.
Probably more than anybody back then. So those are unique situations. The Mets don't spend to that extent. I don't know where the Mets were in payroll this year. It was probably, if I had to guess, I'd say around 12th. So they'll spend, but they're not going to spend the extra, say, $50 million that it would take to get into the top three. So you need a manager who at least has an idea about what he's doing and knows what he's doing and isn't going to be like Mickey Callaway did that time last year where he submitted the wrong lineup card.
Yeah, well.
Stupid little things like that.
Right.
But those are inexperience. And those are things that guys who have been there before and done it before, they don't do that. They know what to do. They know how to do it. And that, again, if the Mets want to be a real contender in 2020, they're going to hire somebody who's actually been there and done that before.
Right.
And they're not going to say, all right, Carlos Beltran, we're going to give you the job. We're only going to pay you $1 million. If the Mets want to go cheap, then they're not as all in as you think. And the managerial decision that they make is going to tell you, are they really looking to win in 2020, or are they just giving you lip service?
Well, I wish someone, just on off topic here, I wish someone would sign Willie Randolph into a managerial contract.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But
Willie's past his sell date.
It's too bad.
Unfortunately,
smart guy.
Because he was a good baseball man too.
Yep.
And he was somebody that could definitely help a team. I don't even know what Willie's doing right nowadays, but
he was with the Braves.
He's a guy.
Bench coach.
He's a guy that definitely can help a team still.
By the way, the Mets got rid of Eduardo Alfonso as the Brooklyn Cyclones manager. Everyone is saying this is also Brody sticking his fingers maybe where it doesn't
belong. They made him, a consultant or something?
He's now a paid consultant to the Mets, basically, so he still has a contract and, I guess, healthcare or something. Who knows?
I don't even know
Which
what that
is
means.
too bad. Now, one of the things that someone was talking about is that Major League Baseball is trying to reduce the amount of minor league teams, and they also want the minor league teams to pay more money towards contracts and stuff. But as I
saw a headline, I didn't.
But I also know that
story.
the Mets actually own the Cyclones, so
they do.
So they wouldn't be worried about this team because they already take care of it.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's an agreement. I'm sure there's an agreement with some LLC company that the Mets own or control. But
probably there's always some kind of money shell game going on.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So anyway, we'll see what happens with the Mets. What's going on with them, and they're very quiet, which is maybe a good thing.
By the way, what's your pick for the World Series, brother? You didn't tell us before.
Well, you didn't ask.
Didn't know I had to.
I would like to see the Astros win.
Well, who do you think is going to win? I didn't ask you who you like. Give me some analysis. Brother.
I think the Astros are going to win.
All right.
I think they're hot right now, and sometimes you need that as a team. And right now they're on fire, so I think that's very good for them. And plus, how can I root for the Nats? Like I said, they just beat up on the Mets way too many times.
Yes, brother.
So anyway, let's take a break right now, brother. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. Tim, you're at Twitter
at Real Tim Leonard.
It's Tuesday night at 8. Do you know where your children are?
It's not Tuesday night at 8 right now.
It's 8 p.m. somewhere. It's time for the Rock Binge.
But it's not 8 p.m. here. What's the Rock Binge?
I'm ready! You know, the Rock Binge, where it plays modern rock and alternative music in a class of its own, with the latest rock news, too. Is it Tuesday night at 8 yet?
No. The show sounds cool and all, but maybe you need to buy a new watch or something?
No, I do not need a new watch. I just can't wait for it to be Tuesday night at 8. Why would you want to miss out on classic SpongeBob lines or this amazing voice?
All right, I get it. All right, I'll listen, I promise.
All right, is it Tuesday night at 8 now?
No, it's not.
How about now?
Stop asking.
You gotta turn on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
All right, forget it. If you can't beat them, join them. Is it Tuesday night at 8 now?
Let me check my watch. Nope, not yet.
Wait.
A Super Bowl champion, U.S. Congressman, publisher of Long Island Business News, award-winning authors, physical fitness life coach, and celebrities like Billy Crystal and Eddie Murphy. I had no idea so many awesome people got their start at Nassau Community College.
Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and Lion Tales are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50-plus years. Hosted by Aurora Workman, the president of Nassau Community College Alumni Association, and Dr. Linda Nadian, a proud Nassau graduate. Let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales, a Nassau Community College Foundation production. Listen every Monday afternoon at 3:30 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
We're back here on From the Press Box here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. I am Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. And we're here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later on. So if you miss it, or if you want to catch some of it again, or if you want to catch one of Tim's great predictions.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Good choice. Good choice with Bruce Springsteen, brother. I'll tell you why.
Why is that, brother?
Because I have to call them my mates since they live in the UK. My mate Doug Watson, and Colin Busher, otherwise known as Gall, big Springsteen fans. And now we're about to talk about football, and they're also big NFL fans.
Oh, and they're in Great Britain. That's the weird part.
Yes, Doug. The G stands for Glasgow because he lives in Scotland.
Now, my brother, a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, said that as much as the Giants, now that they have Daniel Jones as their guy, we're still going to go 2-8.
Remember me saying that, brother?
I do. And so far,
what's the Giants' record now?
I don't know, 2-5.
There you go.
And if you remember last week, we talked about there was a possibility that, the NFC East, which we thought was going to be all Cowboys, well, they won last night.
They're 4-3. They basically showed up a division last night.
Basically, they
at 4-3.
But if the Giants had won yesterday, there could have been something that, maybe that you could have gotten out of this. As this division is now morphing back to the Cowboys again.
Here's how I'm gonna state an unpopular opinion here. Because basically, in fact, not even basically, I am gonna state unequivocally the Giants are trash, and the reason the Giants are trash. The reason the Giants are trash is because Kyler Murray, the Arizona Cardinals quarterback and number 1 overall pick, yesterday threw for a grand total of 104 yards.
Okay.
And the Giants lost.
That's not good.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
All right. The Cardinals had a running back by the name of Chase Edmonds. He's out of Fordham, brother.
Fordham guy.
Fordham rushed for 126 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wow. And that was because David Johnson, who everybody knows, big fantasy guy who has been hurt for the last 2 or 3 years now, had 1 carry for 2 yards yesterday and then left the game. He's banged up again, injured. Chase Edmonds dominated this game.
Right.
I don't know how many people actually knew who Chase Edmonds was before yesterday.
Well, that's beauty.
Besides over in at the Bronx in Fordham.
Well, they know.
They knew. But Daniel Jones yesterday, 22 for 35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 2 fumbles lost. Now,
do you think he's dropping the ball because he's so afraid of really getting hit, or is he just, not used to holding on to the ball?
He from what I remember from the draft, he carries the ball too low, and when opposing defensive players hit him, the ball. If you're just carrying the ball like I wish people on the radio could see, but if you're just carrying the ball like you're hanging your arm down
right.
at the side of your body,
right.
So your hand is on top of the ball, it's very easy to knock the ball out of your hand. You need to have the ball in your elbow. You need to be cradling it, and a quarterback can't really do that. So he needs to be able to sense pressure, to have that internal clock, as they always refer to it with quarterbacks, and he needs to figure out, all right, you know what? I'm not going to be able to make a play. I need to protect the ball. And he's not doing that because these are not his first 2 fumbles.
No.
So it's about ball protection. One thing about Eli Manning, he got hit a lot. Eli rarely fumbled. So, our man Danny Dimes here.
Don't call him that. I hate that nickname.
I hate it too.
So don't call him.
But
don't be part of it.
223 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. There's nothing number 6 pick about that.
No, there's not.
And it's against a team in the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of pressure, and they blitzed the hell out of him yesterday. They sacked him, 10 times to 8 times? How many? 8 times. And so they came after him. They pinned their ears back, and they said, all right, hey, Daniel Jones, we're coming after you. Well, and Daniel Jones did not react well.
But isn't that what you do to a rookie? You just throw everything at him and see what sticks?
Well, you do that to a rookie who has shown in the past that he can't handle pressure.
Yeah, well.
It was the same thing when he was at Duke. And they bring the pressure a little bit harder in the NFL than they do in the ACC, except for Clemson, maybe. But, you know what I'm saying, bro.
I do.
Cardinals jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first half. Giants got to within 3. They cut it to 17-14 at halftime. The Giants blocked a punt and got a touchdown on that, which was pretty impressive. And then Saquon Barkley was back. He had 72 yards and a touchdown, but again turned his ankle. Was disgusting because he actually did it because he stepped on a lineman's foot.
Oh man!
And his ankle rolled, and he came limping off the field. Threw his helmet. He was not like Odell Beckham Jr. would like winding it up and slamming it to the ground. He just he tossed it, but he was disgusted in the manner that he tossed it because he was like, wait, I just went through all this nonsense and now I have to go through it again. And again, in the manner that he did it, but you step on a teammate's foot. It's not the way you want to.
It's not like he can set his ankle in cement or something.
Well, and so the Giants, like I said, got to within 3 points twice. Never took the lead in the game. Never had the lead. Never really came close to having the lead. It's just it's.
Well, you
it's
did
just
say
disappointing.
2-8, brother. They're on the way.
Very
The Jets play the Patriots tonight. Let's see what Sam Darnold can do against the Patriots.
I'm hopeful for Sam Darnold.
I think this could be a closer game than people think. But
the Patriots defense is playing pretty well this season. I'll give them that. I still don't like them. I still think they have. I have no idea how they seemingly every year have the easiest schedule in the league. But I'm hoping that our boy Sammy can get it done.
Let's hope so. We should say that the NBA starts tomorrow, Tuesday.
How about that?
And the Brooklyn Nets are going to be really the team to watch this year. For the first time in a long time.
Big changes,
in New
big
York.
money.
They have a new owner. They have an owner who wants to go up against the Knicks, and the Knicks, who I think R.J. Barrett's going to be a good player, and I actually think they're going to be close to number 8 in the playoff run.
No,
I think so. But
give me a number of wins that's getting them to number 8.
38.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I have the Knicks for somewhere between 30 and 32 wins. I think 32 is optimistic.
Okay. Well, I think 38. I think they're going to be a little bit better, not by much. But
30. What was 38 and what's 38 and 40? 38 and 44.
Yeah.
That might get you an 8 seed in the East.
Maybe in the East.
In the East, maybe.
But the Brooklyn Nets, if they're smart enough, they should have a really good PR department promoting this team, because this is going to be a good team for them. They're making the playoffs.
It's not about the PR department, brother. It's about ad buys.
No, but it's also about getting the word out there so people covering games, it's always the Knicks, because that's the way it is. The Nets haven't had...
There's going to be people covering the Nets. Their season opening press conference... I'm trying to remember what the number was. There was over 200 people there.
Yeah, but they put on a good show.
Well, all the players were there. That was really the first chance that people had to talk to the entire team. Kyrie Irving was there. Fortunately, he didn't mention anything about flat Earth or anything stupid like that.
Well,
Durant was there, so everybody was there, and you got a chance to talk to everyone. We still don't know if Kevin Durant is going to be able to make it back this season. I would like to think he will, but again, it's going to depend on how good he feels and how much season is left by the time he's ready to come back.
And if they actually need him to get to the playoffs or that type of situation.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that the Nets are going to be in the playoffs this year, but then it becomes, are the Nets somewhere in the 5-6 seed range, or can they get up to the 3-4 seed range?
Right.
And if it's down the stretch and there's like 7 or 8 games left, and Kevin Durant is ready to play. I mean, that's going to be the main thing. He's got to be ready to play because he's going to be thrown right into it.
Right.
So you're going to need to see what he can do. But will they want that? I mean, you're talking about a major change to a team in the last couple weeks of the season.
Right.
So that is something that the coaching staff will also have to think about, is how much do we want to mess with our team, our rotation, and everything else. They might tell him to take the whole season off.
Or they might just use him as, sixth man or something, just to bring him in.
More like an eighth man.
Right. We should say also that the New York Liberty is moving to the Barclays Center because they are owned by the same people who own the Nets, and that's a
good purchase.
That is, and they're getting them out of the Westchester Community Center, whatever it is.
The Liberty are not a suburban team.
No, they're not. Also, let's quickly talk soccer, brother. We have about 4 minutes left.
Woo-hoo.
Red Bulls were leading, but lost 4-3 to the Philadelphia Union in extra time.
I got to say, I'm disgusted.
What's that?
Absolutely disgusted.
How can you be
with what happened to the Red Bulls
halftime and they lose 4-3?
They're playing in Philadelphia. They take a lead. They dominate the first half. They go up 3-1. You have to be able to kill that game. Just kill it. Play defense. Yeah. Don't let Philadelphia do anything. You have a 3-1 lead. Fine. Maybe they get one and make it 3-2. You can't let them get that tying goal. You just can't. And the fact that it happened and then Philadelphia scored in the extra time, they just tack on a couple of 15 minutes after the regulation to decide it, and then Philadelphia scored. Fabian got the winning goal, 4-3. It's a disgraceful result.
And there's an odd stat involving the Red Bulls. I'll let you take it.
The Red Bulls have now been eliminated from the playoffs by 10 different teams in the last 10 years.
That's
How about that?
That's horrible.
That's just bizarre.
Very bizarre. Also, my least favorite named team in MLS, NCYFC, whatever it's called.
NYCFC.
They got a bye in the first round and will face another poorly named team, Toronto FC, in the next round. So they're the only team remaining in New York. Also, we do cover the NWSL occasionally. That's the National Women's Soccer League, and their finals on Sunday. The North Carolina Courage will face the Chicago Red Stars. And
Yes, the reigning champion, North Carolina Courage.
Yeah, I always liked watching the women's game, and they've been promoting it good.
They've still gotten a good boost from the Women's World Cup,
right?
Which is better than
they seem to have a following.
ago.
Unfortunately, I don't like teams called Western New York Flash.
Well, they play in Buffalo.
Yeah, they call themselves the Buffalo Flash.
Well, they're trying to appeal to a region.
Yeah, I know that. It sounds like a roller derby,
Well, anyway, I wanted to mention that because he had his significant ties to Long Island. The Courage are coached by Paul Riley. Now, anybody who knows anything about soccer on Long Island knows the name Paul Riley because he's a very familiar guy. He played his college ball at Delphi, started his coaching career as an assistant at CW Post, and later coached the Long Island Rough Riders in the USISL A-League. Riley was the coach of the Courage last year when they won the title. He also led the aforementioned Western New York Flash to the NWSL title in 2016. Now, he's not a Long Island native. He was actually my brother will love this. He was born in Liverpool, and as I said before, he came over and was recruited to play at Adelphi by Coach Bob Montgomery, and has been in the States pretty much ever since, as far as I know.
Cool.
So let's wish Coach Riley some good luck at
I'm
repeating.
sure this game will be on some channel. I know Lifetime was covering some games, but I don't know who's covering. It's tough to watch. Try to figure out. It's like even with the Yankees Astros, it was on FS1,
Sports 1, yeah.
And not everyone has FS1. I was really shocked that that Major League Baseball gave it to them because it's not like ESPN where it's in 95 million homes or 90 million homes now. It's like in 70 million homes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're just about done, brother. Anything else you want to get to before?
I just wanted to point out that after losing 3 of their first 4 games, the Islanders have now won 4 in a row.
All right.
Scores, all right. Panthers 3-2, Blues 3-2, Winnipeg Jets 3-1, and Columbus Blue Jackets 3-2.
That number 3 means something. Doesn't
it? Notice those scores, and notice how the Islanders are getting back to being the team that they were last year.
Yeah, well,
overtime games, shootouts. Brock Nelson got a goal 33 seconds into overtime on Saturday to get the win over Columbus.
Good defense.
So, yeah, it's good. It's all about the defense with the Barry Trotz teams.
And Barzell,
Barzell had 2 goals the other night in the win over Winnipeg.
6 points in the last 4 games, so, man.
There you go.
He's
got to be the leader.
And, for those who don't know, 28 games over at the Coliseum this year. It's more than the 20 they did last year. I don't know what they're going to do with the playoffs. When they played at Barclays last year, they lost in the playoffs. But they won the first round at the Coliseum. That might say
I blame
something.
Gary Bettman.
We all blame Gary Bettman. He's like the blaming guy. Anyway, we're leaving right now, brother. Big Ed is here. All right,
walking in the door. There he is.
Right. Well,
Big Ed.
Big Ed's here. So, while Big Ed's setting up, let me just quickly read something, brother, because we were supposed to read it and then we didn't get to it. Don't forget about Lyrical Ladies today, Monday, 2 p.m. A show dedicated to women from the 70s to today in music. From Joni Mitchell to Taylor Swift, these female-led songs forever leave an impact on the music industry. That's Lyrical Ladies, Monday at 2 p.m. today, right here on 90.3 WHPC.
Do they play Faya on that show?
No, they don't know who Fada is.
Faya. There's no T in there.
Oh, I was thinking of Dr.
They're putting together a new music video right now.
I'm sure everyone's going to be excited.
They should be.
Anyway, Big Ed is here, and you know what that means. The oldies will be played, as they are every Monday from 10 o'clock to 12 noon. My name is Rob Leonard. You are?
I'm still Tim Leonard.
And we'll see you next Monday. Take care and bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.